When the first German prisoners of war were brought to the United States in 1943 and 1944, they expected harsh treatment, meagre rations, and constant punishment. German propaganda had filled their minds with one message: America was weak, starving, and barely able to feed itself. But nothing prepared them for what they actually found. Stay until the end, because the moment these men finally tasted American cornbread became one of the most unexpectedly revealing experiences of their entire captivity. Arrival in America, a land that wasn't supposed to exist. As German POWs stepped off the trains in camps across Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Nebraska, and dozens of other states, their senses were overwhelmed. The first thing many noticed wasn't the guards or the fences, it was the smell. Real food, not ersatz bread, not watery soup, not the tiny rations they had been surviving on for years. The aroma drifting out of the American mess halls, meat roasting, vegetables boiling, and fresh bread baking, was enough to make some prisoners go silent. They had not smelled abundance in years. The first mess hall, a meal they never expected. When they entered the dining hall for the first time, they stared at the portions. American soldiers received large rations, and under the Geneva Convention, POWs had to be fed the same. Trays were filled with meat, potatoes, vegetables, and a small, square, yellow piece of something they had never seen before. To some, it looked like a cleaning sponge. To others, it looked like bread, but not the bread they knew from home. It was soft, warm, slightly sweet-smelling, and completely foreign to them: the laughter. This is bread? To Germans, corn was animal feed. Cornmeal was not used for human food. Sweetened bread was almost unheard of. So when they saw cornbread, reactions were immediate and very real. Some chuckled, some joked quietly, some poked it suspiciously with their forks. Others flat out refused to touch it at first. To them, this felt like proof of what they had been told, that Americans didn't know how to bake real bread. Only one thing would change their minds. The first bite, a taste they never expected. Eventually, curiosity beat skepticism. One by one, German POWs took their first bite of American cornbread. And in nearly every camp where this moment is mentioned in letters, reports, or post-war interviews, the reaction was the same: shock, surprise, and then something no one expected: delight. The sweetness was new. The soft, crumbly texture felt comforting. And the warm flavour contradicted every assumption they had brought across the Atlantic. The laughter stopped, and many went back for seconds. A window into America, more than just bread. Cornbread was just one example of a larger reality that stunned the prisoners. America had food, real food, in the middle of a global war. The variety amazed them. Coffee with sugar. Fresh vegetables, even in winter. Meat served more often than they had seen in years. Some prisoners noted that their meals in the US surpassed what many civilians back in Germany were eating by that stage of the war. It wasn't a luxury. It was simply the American ration system. And to them, it felt like stepping into another world entirely. Working in the kitchens, learning America by taste. Some POWs were assigned to kitchen duty, and this brought them face to face with American cooking for the first time. They learned how American cooks mix cornmeal with flour, milk, eggs, salt and sugar to create a simple, inexpensive bread that could feed thousands. They began baking it themselves. What started as a joke slowly became a familiar comfort. The food item many former POWs remembered most vividly decades later. Not because it was fancy, but because it symbolized something bigger: abundance. Changing perceptions. The power of a simple meal. In later years, when interviewed by historians, many former POWs admitted that the moment they tasted their first piece of American cornbread was also the moment they realized something important. America was not the nation they had been told to hate. It wasn't starving, it wasn't collapsing, and it wasn't interested in mistreating them. Cornbread became a small but powerful symbol, a reminder that propaganda had lied to them, a reminder that even in war, humanity could appear in the simplest things. The bread they never forgot. By the time the war ended and the POWs returned home, many carried with them memories of American meals, especially the strange, soft, sweet bread they once laughed at. Years later, some even tried to recreate it back in Germany. Others spoke about it with nostalgia. And for many, it remained their very first taste of the United States, literally. Because sometimes history doesn't change through battles or speeches. Sometimes it changes through a single bite of food and acts of humanity and kindness. And that is why the story of German POWs and American cornbread still stands as one of the most unexpected and human moments of World War II. This is a true World War II story because sometimes kindness leaves the longest memory. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.